like to start with the first question from the petitioner, Honorable Kolosh, on the issue of the direction and advice from the IG. I want to make it very clear to this committee, honorable members. The security operations, the way they are constituted in these operational areas, they are very well structured. We have the multi-agency approach method on the ground. This multi-agency approach comprises all the security agencies on board. Any matter which needs advice to direct part of the institution, professions, and communities, it is advised on real time. I want this Honorable Chairman to Honorable Kolosh to understand the procedures of security. I will not be able to hold any information which is targeting a certain group and give it more than 24 hours before we advise the targeted teams. And this happens on hourly basis in operational areas. The advice on an attack, and this regard we are discussing about teachers. Any insecurity was being communicated on real time, and Madam CEO TSC has even put it. We have even cases of even request from the information from teachers coming that we provide security, which has been happening. It's very continuous. I will not be able to give a blanket advice. The multi-agency is structured from the ground, from sub-county, county, and region, and up to the NSAC. So first instance, the sub-county will communicate the advice accordingly. I wanted to make that clear to the petitioner so that he understands how we communicate the intelligence issues which requires immediate attention. But on the issues of the movement, as it has been narrated by the CEO, it was not any instruction given by other parties.
Point of order.
Point of order.
The point of order is the question was specific. This withdrawal of teachers was across the whole of northern region. Is there any circular or advisory by the IG to that effect? It's either yes or no.
I want to give very specific because I have to be realistic. What triggered the movement of the teachers, there was no directive. It was following the attacks of the teachers.
I think you're in order, IG, and I think the IG is just very clear. And I think members, some of the issues raised by IG are actually institutional procedures, yes, from the sub-county, locational, all through. And he cannot just tell you today that there was this, there was that. I think he can be able to give us a clear record, the IG, if you are able.
And I'm going to put in writing.
Yes, you can put in writing on that.
I'll give that one in writing.
Yes, you can proceed.
With your permission, Chair, I would like to go to the error of 500. I didn't give as a fact 500. It just was to demonstrate the distance where Kamude and the border, just to give a realistic that it was a distance far from the border. But those are not accurate figures, and I will provide the figures, Honorable Chair. On issue of uniformed officers who have died in northeastern region, Chair, Honorable Chair, the police, we are deployed there to fight. We are not there like any other person. And actually where there is an attack, we are the respondent, number one. The issue of this is an unlocal uniformed officer or a local uniform officer does not rise in our organization, because we are deployed as a team and we respond as a team. If any death occurs amongst the team, ni ile condition ya vita. It is not targeting a local or a non-local. It is police, national police service, who are on the ground fighting. And then the issue of the Kamudei, which I said there was information available to the locals apart from the teachers. Honorable Chair, Honorable Petitioner, Honorable Kolosh seeks a report, which I've said I'll provide a report later. Thank you.
CEO. What's out of order, Honorable?
I suggest, since the prime issue is the TSC, why can't we be able to take a number of issues before she responds?
No. She by procedure, the petitioner has a first response. Let's allow her to respond. And I want to advise members, kindly look into this document. Some of the questions we're asking have already been answered. So I really want you to really go through the document very clearly, so that we don't waste a lot of time. Yes, CEO.
Chair, I won't go into the specifics of the teachers. I enumerated that very well in the historical background. Specific cases, not general. But I also want to say that, just like I said, I want to reiterate that in the last 5 years, we have lost 42 teachers. These attacks are sporadic. Then I think the other one that he asked about us is that why we withdrew teachers. Chair, I think again I answered, we did not withdraw teachers. In fact, as we speak, if you look at our table, we have non-local teachers still in the northeastern region. And we have appended actually sample letters of transfers. Any teacher who asks for transfer on insecurity, and it is there even in our code, health, insecurity, marital, and so on, the commission looks at those, and you will also get the report from the IG to show maybe why the teachers thought there was insecurity, because we work, TSC also works under the multi-agency governmental concerns and so on. So we did not transfer it. We did not withdraw. And then thirdly, Chair, we have to emphasize here that safety concerns of our employees, having learned lessons from the past, where we caused teachers to go back and they came back dead, is paramount to the Commission. Which employer does not care about its the safety of its employees? And yet this is documented. If it is about, I don't know what was said about transfers, that the courts talked about reinstatement and so on. I want to read somewhere. The court did not only address itself to interdictions. It actually told us on page 122 of the court orders that we were given that we were restrained, yes, from interdicting, but we were also restrained from redeploying or reposting the non-local teachers to the northeastern region, including Madeira, Marsabit, Wajir, and Moyale, and so on and so forth. So we were not only restrained to interdictions. Actually, I said here, even though we were told that, we have still continued to employ teachers in the northeastern region because we are aware of the constitutional rights of the children in that area.
Now I want to open the floor to the honorable members. And honorable members, Honorable Major Bashir is attending another committee meeting. I will allow him to ask questions with the committee members. So let me start with the Honorable Mboko Milemba, and Honorable Engineer, Honorable Soshon, Honorable Ro, all the way up to Honorable Bashir, and then Honorable Lokomuntare. Will other friends of the committee, you will ask later on. I want also to ask members, for purposes of guidance, at most 2 questions.
Very well.
At most 2 questions. And very specific.
Chairman,
You not want stories.
Chairman, I'll not let you down. I want to be very specific and also advise my colleague, honorable members, that I've never seen such an elaborate report from an agency, and most of the issues have been handled. So we are actually now faced with dealing with solutions. And most of our questions should be focused towards the solutions now. Otherwise, going for petty things, we shall take too much time. Meanwhile, let me ask the question. Number one.
You be guided. Nobody is asking anything petty.
I withdraw.
Yes.
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
Thank you. Number one, if this goes to the Teacher Service Commission, what would you advise this committee to do? If we were to open up, like it was almost suggested by the CS, that we train teachers with C who are qualified in those particular areas so that they can occupy those particular regions. In relation to the law that governs you, what would be your advice to us? Because I think when you retreat to do a report, we'd want to consider that. Number two, it goes to the security, the IG. What steps have you put in place? Because you are the final person in terms of protection of not only teachers but also Kenyans, not only northeastern region but the entire Kenya. Which steps have you put in place to make sure that there is enough security in that region to allow education to continue? Thank you.
Zambia.
Thank you, Chair. I think that the report which has been tabled is very clear, and it is very unfortunate to learn that the non-locals have been killed, and have not had any of the locals who has not been killed. And I want to make a recommendation, sir.
Recommendation, some question. You are not doing a recommendation.
Okay.